Hello and welcome to another episode of This Is Our Year. I'm your host, Michael Kurland. Joining me as always is my partner in crime, Juggy Fresh Douglas. How are you doing today?
Doing all right, Mikey. How you doing, man?
I'm gonna hold off on what you're drinking today because I want to start off on a little bit of a rant.
Let's go.
And my rant is this is not our year
No,
for the New York Mets.
it ain't our year, man.
This is not our year for the New York Islanders. This is not our year for the Brooklyn Nets so far. And as much as we've gotten such good vibes from the New York Football Giants and the New York Football Jets, I don't believe we're serious Super Bowl contenders. I don't believe that this is our year. So I think the question mark at the end of our podcast title is very fitting and also very frustrating. And I'm frustrated, Doug.
It's why we did this show, right? Like and why we picked this title. And the question mark is the key here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I really don't.
Purgatory for a while.
Yeah, I don't think this is our year again. The only thing that I think has any hope is the New York Mets, which I don't even want to talk about because I'm still so dejected from the way that season ended. I do have some confidence going into the offseason, but that's still, you're talking almost 12 months before a payoff on that.
Yeah.
Right? More than 12 months because the World Series isn't even over yet. So, and it's such a long grind and injuries. You can feel confident on paper when you start, but so let's talk. Let's not be total Debbie Downers. Let's talk about what you're drinking today and let's get going.
You're driving me to drink over here, man.
Talk about it. Let's talk about what you're drinking.
Let's continue to be Debbie Downers. Dougie Downer here to report that it's been kind of rainy and gloomy in Connecticut, a little cold last few days.
You got your fall best. Are you drinking a pumpkin spice latte beer?
I am not. I ripped through a bunch of pumpkin beers. I was trying to save them for the show, but I don't think I've done pumpkin on here. So I don't know. I found a porter in my fridge. I'm going to do a porter, see how it goes. And I know this is blasphemy in the Guinness Stout mug, but it's going to look good. It's going to look good on camera. This is Hogshead Brewery, another Denver brewery. And this is the Gilpin Black Gold. Pretty cool can. There's a scary ass Hogshead on the back, one red eye. Awesome. Maybe he's got pink eye. Who knows? Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, my friend.
Oh, that's nice. I don't know if you're a porter guy, but it's like a meal in a mug.
You know me, dude. I don't drink beer. I may have a Mexican lager if I'm eating tacos, but that's about as far as I go when it comes to beer. But if you want wine, I'm your guy.
Yes. Yeah. Well, this is just sitting in a London pub, which the I guess Jaguars and Broncos are going to go do this weekend. But
sorry, UK, for sending you two of our most garbage franchises to battle it out.
And I was going to use the Jags as a segue, but can we real quickly talk about how much of a weirdo Russ Wilson is? Have you been paying attention to this?
I watched him do this whole thing for Mr. Incredible or whatever the fucking word it was. Like right during the week that he was not sure if he was going to start because of his hamstring, he went on social media and he did this whole shtick, and I didn't understand any of it. And I was just like, this is why everyone hates you.
Yeah.
And this is why Pete Carroll hated you. And honestly, Pete Carroll was right because Geno Smith, who I never thought in my lifetime I would say was a viable NFL quarterback, in the system that you were running, has been a better quarterback than you this year. So you went to a team with more, on paper, more talent, more tools. And I will take a pause and say Nathaniel Hackett is not an NFL caliber coach, but still, if you're Russell Wilson and you wanted all that power in Seattle, you didn't prove. You haven't proven at all that you were worthy of it. You haven't proven at all that you're worthy of it.
No, and thank you, Matt, for bringing up one of the two things I was going to bring up. So Russell Wilson's a complete maniac at this point. He's just out of his fucking mind. And there's a thing about 8-hour flight, and he's spending most of the time in the aisles doing stretches around his teammates. Also, I don't know if you're going to find this one, Matt, but I saw something today that he is all about time efficiency, which is great, right? I think it's in your book somewhere, like using your time wisely.
Yes.
He is
I'm all about time efficiencies. Yes.
And but so he thinks that he's spending too much time eating, drinking, and going to the bathroom, apparently. So he's trying to cut down his craps or poop to twice a week. Your thoughts?
He's trying to poop twice a week?
Trying to poop a lot less. It takes up way too much time.
I don't know, man. He's definitely that's insanity, and I don't
right.
I don't know. I mean,
Someone's got to step in here before.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe he's got a little bit of the too many hits to the head. And Antonio.
What's the concussion count over there? So anyway, it's just I was again with the thing on the scroll. I was having a good time thinking about him being really annoying on an 8-hour flight to London. So
yeah, well, think about this though, man. Like the Seahawks went all in on him about 3 years ago, right? They made that stupid trade that was franchise changing for the Jets, but with the Jets for Jamal Adams,
right?
Overpaid his safety. They've surrounded him with good receivers. He had a good running back. His line was never great, and they've never been a team that's invested in the line.
And obviously it was a Titanic defense for a long time.
Yes, and they finally invested in it this year, and it seems to be, long overdue. But I think John Schneider is a really good GM, aside from that Jamal Adams trade, and he, I think, did a good job of masking the quirkiness of Russell Wilson. And I think now that Russell's in Denver, you're seeing probably what Carroll and the team has seen for so long, and the reason why they were like, "You're fucking insane. We're not going to give you insight to being GM." Like, no, you don't get to make the calls, and that stuff never works. It doesn't work. Hasn't worked with Rodgers. It hasn't worked with Wilson. I guess it kind of worked with Brady. And if you want to take it to another sport, it hasn't worked with the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, Katie and Irving are the de facto GMs over there, or at least had too much power, and nothing.
No.
So,
and we can get into them later, but I watched a little bit, and I don't see it yet in Brooklyn. But anyway, you want to go Jets? You want to go Giants, man? Dude, we're just racking up the dubs, and I know you don't have Super Bowl hopes, but every week that passes, why the hell not?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'll tell you why I don't think the Jets have Super Bowl aspirations this year. So we can lead off with that. But, the Jets had a win that for the last 10 years we would have never won. We went into hostile territory. We played the number one defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
And we lost basically our two best players in the game on top of our number one receiver. On top of our number two receiver not even going to the game because he had a temper tantrum, and we pulled out a win, and that was more because our kicker was actually an NFL caliber kicker who didn't miss any kicks, and our defense played like the number one defense, even though they're the number 3 defense in the NFL.
You're right.
So against
Brett Rippon and like Latavius Murray,
right? But still in Denver on the road,
right. Not easy.
That's a game we lose 10 times out of 10 over the last decade. So the fact that we were able to pull it off in hostile territory and not do what we normally do and roll over and get a win with a bunch of injuries and our quarterback playing like dog shit, we don't normally win that game. So that was a great win. I feel great. We are now 5-2, tied for the second best record in the AFC with the Kansas City Chiefs, and the only team ahead of us is the Buffalo Bills, who are leading our division. So who would have thought? Well, I thought Buffalo was going to lead the division. I had
the Jets, man.
Yeah, I had no aspirations of the Jets being any sort of way functional like they've been. But I will say the reason I don't think that we have Super Bowl aspirations is because Zach Wilson is still not playing great. He's up and down. The last 2 weeks they've won in spite of him. I don't think that we're asking him to do a lot because they don't trust him fully. Right. I think we are trying to make the run game the offense runs through the run and then off of play action and bootlegs and a lot of misdirection. And I think
your teams are very similar in that regard.
Yeah. Right. And I think losing ABT, who I thought was our team MVP for the season, and Breece Hall, who was solidifying himself as a top let's call it 5 back in the NFL right now.
Absolutely breaking out. That's
Yep.
such a shame to see because he was, ripping off highlights every week.
Yeah, I mean a 62-yard run against Denver last week, which was, we were just waiting for that, and we haven't had a guy take it to the house like that in a long time. So I don't think we have I don't even think if all that stuff stayed as is currently constituted without the injuries, I still don't think we had Super Bowl aspirations. And I am very positive about the direction of this team.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think our defense has done a complete 180. We were the worst defense in the league last year, top 3 this year. And I think we've ironed out a bunch of things. We've added some talent. We probably need a little more help at safety and some D-tackle help, but that'll be the stuff we take care of in the offseason, right? I think that the offense has been doing enough, and the running game has been so strong with the reverses and all the stuff that's happened in between. I think losing ABT is going to hurt. I think we'll get George Fant back in the next couple of weeks to fill in at right tackle, and I think that we can mitigate. But we were giving up a lot of pressure against Denver. They are the number 1 defense in the NFL. So, Zach was under pressure and duress all day, and the guy has not proven to be able to make a throw under pressure.
Right.
He almost single-handedly lost that game by doing so many pirouettes when he was under pressure.
It was an ugly game to watch.
It was an ugly game to watch. But all that stuff doesn't bother me. Like, you're under pressure. It's tough to be good under pressure unless you're planning for it. I think that's stuff that happens as you grow. I got less time. Your clock in your head gets quicker. Yeah. He knows he's got to get rid of it. He still hasn't gotten there. The thing that has bothered me the last 2 weeks about Zach Wilson, and the main reason why I don't think we have Super Bowl aspirations this year, is his accuracy is not good. It's not good. And he's missing guys on routes. And he's not missing. He's either throwing it behind him where the guys have to reach back and make a great catch, or they're not making the catch, or he's overthrowing them by like a lot. And so that's the stuff that's really got me nervous watching him and his development, because a lot of these throws, if you're even in the box of where the catch radius is, these guys are going to catch probably half of what you're throwing, but these balls are to the point of they're almost uncatchable.
Right.
And so if you're throwing uncatchable balls, those are either going to be intercepted, tipped and intercepted, or they're incompletions and you're killing drives, right? And some of this stuff, I don't know if he's just got to take the check down. He's got to hit the guy quicker, because a lot of the Jets' offense is not long developing, right? He's good at extending plays with his legs, and I think he thinks to do too much of that. He doesn't step up into the pocket as much. He looks to roll out and get outside, which cuts the field in half, and it makes it easier for the defense. But all that stuff I think he can fix, but the accuracy, I don't know. I don't know if that's something that can get fixed. So that's where my biggest concern is.
Now, he obviously missed a lot of reps. He was banged up in the preseason. When he was drafted, though, I thought he was fairly accurate. Like, this is a confidence thing right now with him, you think?
I think
still shaking off the rust.
I think, good point. He just finished what would have been his 17th game. So in theory, what would have been the end of his rookie year because of all the injuries he's had. So, that I take that into account. So there's still time to progress. I think he's got till the end of this year. And I mean, unless he takes a nosedive, probably the end of next year before we're going to we
were saying this about Sam Darnold too, right?
It's a different story though. Darnold to me is what's happening in Chicago with Fields, even though they won. They didn't have the money to invest around Darnold, and they took a quarterback high and then just tried to fucking put tape over boat holes. And it was just a sinking ship. And he also had a god-awful coach. Adam Gase was not very similar to Hackett. He's not an NFL caliber coach. It was that one when that happened,
I kind of already forgot about all that. Like, you guys had no receiver help.
We had no receivers, and we had no offensive line. So we were coming off the Mangold brick retirement.
Yep.
We tried to plug and play with sub replacement level players at center and left tackle for those years. So we had Kelvin Beachum, who was cheap, below average left tackle. And then the litany of guys that we plugged in at center that were all, none of them after they left us, I believe, even stayed in the NFL as backups, but they were starting for us. So it was, then we brought in, the whatever his name was, the guy from the Carolina Panthers after we talked him out of retirement because Douglas was trying to get him to come in and give Sam some sort of semblance of being able to read the defense. But so Darnold never had receivers. He never had a line.
Right.
He never had a tight end.
This is different,
Yeah, this is different. We got the line. We got everything in place, right? Like if you stop today and you put another quarterback in our offense that's not Joe Flacco, between our line and our offense, our receivers, like I really believe like after this year, I don't know what's going to happen with Jimmy G, but that's the guy that they may grab to be our backup. And if things don't work out, he might get elevated. I don't know.
Interesting.
That's all the way down the road.
I think you're right. And if you dropped, say, Daniel Jones onto your team, yeah, he makes shit happen. He probably does. I can't believe. By the way, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but
I'm like, yeah,
we're talking.
That Porter's hitting hard, huh?
We're talking about the NFC Offensive Player of the Week, baby.
Yeah.
200 passing, 100 rushing, man. That was my next point about Wilson, though. Do you want to see him scramble more, or you think he's just going to die out there?
No, I want to see it. So the thing about Zach that he still hasn't learned that I think he will learn is the hero ball stuff.
Yeah.
The play where he almost fumbled and almost cost us the game. He did 2 360 spin-offs to like evade getting sacked.
Right.
Like
this isn't.
It's not, you got to know in your head, like, okay, right. I got 2 guys coming at me. I'm outside the pocket. Get it out of bounds. Like just play another down.
We even saw Lamar do that and throw a huge pick against the Giants last week. It's just it's not a great idea.
No, and it's not like, it's not fourth quarter, game on the line, like, whatever. This was second quarter, like we're up. I think we were up 10-9 or something like that. Yeah, we had just gone up 10-9 and get rid of the ball, play another down, work the clock as a part of your team, right? So like stuff like that. I think he did make a good run a couple plays later where he took off and got positive yards, got 10 yards. He needs to get out of bounds and he needs to slide. And I'm okay with that as long as it's there, that's why Josh Allen is so great because he's a different animal, right? I'm not comparing Zach Wilson to Josh Allen,
right?
But you got to pick your spots to run. If you got a lane, run and get down and slide. Don't take hits. Someone was showing clips about why Tyler Lockett is such a good receiver at being like 5'10" and 180 pounds. And it's because when he catches the ball, if there's people around him, he immediately goes to the ground.
Yeah.
And he's not taking these monster hits that that like Jerry Jeudy. I mean, how that guy even came back in the game last week, I have no fucking idea. And they're about the same size.
Yeah, it's a matter of time with Jeudy. To bring it to a New York comparison, that's the big concern, I think, with Wan'Dale Robinson. He's got to learn the same thing because he's been getting rocked and he's tiny and he's only effective in the short, in the middle, like in the slot, basically. So he's going to be taking hits. I don't want to bring you off the Jets, but yeah, it's a great comparison.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we've talked enough about last week. I think, the nice thing that to put a bow on it is we lose Breece Hall for the year. We lose ABT for the year. So Michael Carter is elevated to your starting running back. Ty Johnson is your backup. And I thought they were going to go out and just sign Tevin Coleman off the 49ers practice squad and just bring back, get the band back together. It's cheap. It's easy. But they went out and Joe Douglas, to his credit, got James Robinson for a sixth, probably going to be a 5th round pick. And he can come in and he can be a nice 1-2 punch with Carter. We can retain his rights after this year and go from there. So it's not a lot to invest in a guy. He is coming off Achilles. He had a couple of good games this year, but if you look at his rushing analytics this year, he is not doing great. Neither is Michael Carter. They're both at averaging negative 0.1 yards per carry and whatever the analytics are.
I didn't realize Carter was that bad. I thought he was a really solid number 2. But
yeah, but you look at, I'm not talking about yards per carry. They're talking about, when you start getting into the expected yards per carry based on the offensive line and all that bullshit. Right. So Carter's at 0.03 and
so he's
Robinson's
kind of
at like, no, yeah, they're all basically league average guys. A little bit below league average, but slightly. But the nice thing about James Robinson that I really liked, the stat that stood out to me is pass protection. this year. 0 QB hits given up, 0 sacks given up.
Gotta love that.
And so that guy can come in and really help Zach get a little bit more, time in the pocket. And so if Zach can get rid of the ball faster, Robinson can give him more time, these guys can do a 1-2 punch. We've already got 5 wins. We have supposedly the hardest schedule for the rest of the year, based on what's gone on year to date. But we'll see. I mean,
I like the next 3 games. It's going to say a lot.
We got New England twice, and we got Buffalo, right?
Buffalo.
I would love to take one of these games from New England. I would
them
love
both.
to take 2. I'd love to take 2.
Take them
but
both,
at least one. Buffalo, I don't think that we're in the same class with Buffalo.
No one really is, and maybe the Chiefs again. But
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. But I do feel positive about the direction of where we're going, and I think we got all the pieces. And if it clicks for Zach, we will have Super Bowl aspirations in the next year or 2.
Honestly, I thought you were going to be more Mikey Downer after Brees and AVP going down. Sorry, just screwed up. AVT, damn it. Yeah, because you've been hyping AVT all year. So I was thinking about you. I can't disagree with anything you just said there. I think you guys are still in prime position. It just sucks about Brees.
Yep, I think so too. Yep, exactly. But it's the NFL. I mean, we've dealt with more injuries this year than I think any other team. Yeah. And we're still 5-2. Good teams find ways to win. And for the last 10 years, we've found a way to make that part of our excuse, right? So I'm just letting it ride, and it's all kind of what you said last week. It's all house money, right? Okay. I would hate to finish the year 5-12, but if we end up 9-8, whatever, man. Like,
which is most likely where you're heading.
I mean, we've already got more wins than last year, and I don't know. I think we can win. I think we can win another 5 games, and I'd love to finish 10-7 and be in the playoff hunt all the way till the end, and maybe even make the playoffs, sneak in as like that 7th seed, right?
The playoffs keep getting bigger. I think you got a real good shot. And oh God, I just lost my other thought. Damn it. But yeah, man.
Well, let's talk about those New York Giants, buddy.
Yeah. Speaking of offensive players of the week, your defensive player of the week was
Sauce Gardner.
That's right.
He got rid of. He was like, the rookie of the week. I don't need that shit anymore. I already got one of those. I'm just gonna go straight for the offensive player of the week, dude. Thank you for bringing that up and give me a couple more minutes to ride on Sauce.
Absolutely.
That guy is.
I'm a big fan of Sauce. I wanted him.
Oh, dude, I want. That's who I wanted, and I talked myself out of it because I was like, "There's no way Douglas is drafting a cornerback at the number 4 slot."
You were saying this a lot on the show, so.
Yep, and we took Sauce, and dude, he is every bit as good as he was advertised. You cannot throw on him. He had what did he have? 2 pass breakups. Yep. I think he had 9 tackles this week. I mean, some of the routes that he shut down were ridiculous. Richard Sherman is throwing heaping praise on this guy, and that's one of the best to ever do it. So I don't know. I think, and let's not even forget about DJ Reed. I mean, DJ Reed put a hurting on Jerry Jeudy, and I know he's on your fantasy team. I know we didn't play in fantasy this week, but I was slightly hoping he was out for the game. So just to fuck your fantasy team.
Oh God. And I've dodged the bullet so much this year already compared to some other teams, but yeah, let's not get into that crap. I just blew my first round pick. So, everybody's getting hurt now, but anyway, God, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, dude. So I don't want to be complaining about Thibodeau, but man, yeah, Gardner's already looks like a superstar. My last question to you, if you were stuck on Sauce Island, what would be your first go-to sauce? What's your favorite sauce?
Well, are we talking about Buffalo Wild Wings?
No, any kind of, just go nuts.
Well, all right. So
I don't even know how to answer this either.
This is going to be sacrilege, right? But I moved here in 2014.
Uh-oh.
Never, ever ate ranch in my life. Thought it was weird. It was gross. Maybe you dip it in your vegetables in it when you get a crudité, and who the fuck eats that shit? You move to California, and dude, I honestly, every Californian they put ranch on everything. So I used to be a blue cheese on wings guy, ranch, pizza, ranch. You put ranch on everything out here, and it's not. No one looks at you sideways oh, can I get some pizza? Can I get some ranch with that pizza? Of course. Here's your already pre-made cup of ranch. And I'm just okay. Never thought I'd say that. So I think for the Californian in me, that I've become. I think I'd have to say ranch.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with hot because I'm a hot idiot. But no, that was dumb. The Giants. Not complaining about Thibodeau. Do you see him run down ETN after like 50 yards?
I did not.
Too. He chased down a running back who was like a 4.4 guy. KT's a 4.5 guy, I think, or whatever. Like if you're in the combine.
What's his stat line? Like what's he doing? Talk about him and Neil, because we both had multiple first round picks this year. Like I know Neil got hurt. What's his prognosis and like, what's going on with those two guys?
Yeah, man. Shit. I mean, we lost like the whole like half the line in the first half last week. Thankfully, the news isn't as bad as all the Jets news, right? The Giants are looking at like missing these three guys, including Neil, who's the biggest piece. I don't want to see him miss a lot of games. So thank God it's only going to be a couple of weeks or a few weeks MCL strain. I think looking at their schedule, the bye weeks coming up, you want to just hope that he's back for that Thanksgiving Dallas game. And he's had some tough games, but it's his rookie year. Thomas had some tough games in his rookie year, so I definitely wasn't getting on him.
You guys were ready to write off Thomas.
I mean, I personally wasn't, but yeah, everybody was cranky that year because we sucked dog shit as usual. But Thomas has just become a beast, and there's hope for Neil, and hopefully this doesn't set him back. Hopefully he gets back within that time frame and plays for the stretch. They're going to have to use their fourth round rookie, Josh Azudu. He's going to have to just slide into that spot. That might be a problem, but obviously, the Giants took care of business in the second half, like they always do, right? Against the Jags, and he was on every snap. So maybe this guy isn't falling. Ben Bredesen is going to be out for a few weeks too. That sucks. They're going to have to slide in a guy we signed, I think after cut day, like Tyree Phillips or something. It's Brian Dable's magic, man. You slide these guys, almost no names, in, and they get it done, right? And then of course, it wasn't even a penalty on the play, right? But Daniel Bellinger got his face broken, his eye poked out. It's like a broken septum and orbital, I think.
Did his eye come out of the socket?
I don't know. I didn't see it. Like there was there was a replay of him on the cart with a bloody jersey though. Like it was nasty.
Yeah.
Devin Lloyd just. So
what's his prognosis?
Thankfully they're not like, well, first of all, thankfully they're not like this is career ending, and it might not even be the season. But all three of these guys could be down for a month probably. So they're going to have to figure some stuff out, man. But hey, let's talk about the game. Speaking of the Jags, right? And they can move the ball. And once again, the Giants give up a ton of yards, but they bend to no break. And they took another team out to, as they say, the deep end of the pool, right? Let's see if they can swim. And we drowned those Jags once again.
Yeah, and you guys, that was a trap game. I think both these games were trap games.
I thought it was
for both teams. We talked about it last week. Denver on the road against their backup quarterback, trap game. Jacksonville on the road, trap game. And you guys, we both. That's a game you lose 10 out of 10 the last decade.
Absolutely.
And you guys pulled it off. So, yeah. What were the highlights from that game for you?
Oh man, I think honestly the biggest play might have happened in the first half. The Jags are running the ball at will on us, and I think it was like 11-10 Jacksonville, and they just marched the ball down the field, and McKinney punched the football out at the goal line after a long drive. This is towards the end of the second half. A great play by him, recovered by Love in the end zone. They take the ball back, get 3 points on the other side. Suddenly, it's a 13-11 halftime lead instead of being down 18-10. I thought that was just absolutely tremendous. Once again, the offense wasn't great in the first half, but this team can run. It can't really stop the run, but it can also run. And did you know 2 of the top 5 players in the NFL in 10 or more yard rushes? I didn't know that till I was doing my homework. Barkley and Jones. Yeah. And as I mentioned before, Jones over 100 yards rushing. They got some breaks. He threw a bad pick that thankfully there's a penalty on. So I mean, Daniel Jones is not perfect, but he's playing some really, really good football right now.
I mean, dude, what are you, 6-1?
Or 6-1, man.
You're
I don't even know what's going on.
I mean, dude, you're gonna have to get to the point where you start talking about, is this guy gonna get a contract extension?
Yeah,
or at least a franchise tag.
It's gonna come up every week, right? And when you're, I mean, look, the offense is still like something like 18th overall. There's just magic in this year right now. I agree, like kind of like the Jets. This isn't a Super Bowl contender. Teams like Buffalo and Kansas City are going to run them off the field. But I will say this about this team: this team is tough as hell, and you don't want to get into like a knife fight with this team. They're gonna take you down.
Or shank you.
Yeah, you better get out ahead of the Giants, because the Giants probably won't come back if they're down by 14-21, especially in the first half. But if you're in a back and forth battle, this team's going to run the ball down your throat. And the play calling is obviously maximizing all these players' talents, and it's just been impressive as hell to watch.
Yeah, I like what you're saying. I think that's a parallel between both New York teams.
Yeah. There's certainly a parallel here.
You talked about drowning them in the deep end of the pool. I mean, that's what Salah's been saying. I guess that's what Daboll's been saying too. And we don't jump out to big leads. We play awesome in the fourth quarter, and we will just keep grinding on you and work it till you can't keep up with us, right? We will wear you down. We will wear you down. I think that we're tougher than a lot of teams are.
It's pretty cool, right? We're almost mirror images. It'd be fun as hell to see these two teams play, actually. I mean, it's going to be boring as hell, but for scoring wise, but or who knows? But
so who are you playing this week? Who's your opponent?
So speaking of Geno in Seattle, we got to head out there. What's
your thoughts on that? What's your prediction?
I wouldn't call this a trap game. They're good.
Seattle?
And Geno is a good quarterback. We all got him wrong, except like one guy who's having a hell of a week on Twitter, who wrote like an article 3 years ago. I think
that Geno's always had the talent. I think Geno was Geno's own worst enemy. And I think Geno spending the first 5 years of his career in New York with the media, he was not prepared for that from a mental standpoint. He always had this chip when he was with the Jets. He always had this chip, like, they're against me. They don't want me to be the quarterback. And I think it was ill-founded. I think that he's just a kind of a cantankerous kind of guy from what I remember.
And he was young, right?
He was definitely young.
He was in an absolutely impossible situation his 1 year on the Giants.
Yes.
I will say that. And in retrospect, like, Jesus, like
they should have never done that to him. That was
but they loved him apparently. Like, it wasn't just let's switch it up. Like, I think they really did believe in Geno, but the blowback for ending the streak.
That was so poorly handled. Who was that?
Right.
McAdoo?
Yeah, that was the last McAdoo year, and you had to think like Mara stepped in at some point. It was completely dysfunctional, right?
But I think now that he's gotten out to Seattle and he's had enough time in a system and a place, he's been there. I think he's been there since he left. Yeah, I think he went to San Diego for a year.
San Diego, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was in San Diego for a year or two, and then he's been in Seattle for probably the last 3 or 4 years. Yep. So, he's knows that place. He's been there probably the longest he's been anywhere in his career.
And like he's accurate as hell. He can throw the ball downfield.
Yep. He can run if he needs to.
Yep, he can run. Walker is looking like a hell of a rookie. It was going to be Walker versus Brees, right? Maybe for rookie of the year. And it's in Seattle, so obviously not a easy place to play. It wouldn't surprise me at all. The Giants lost this one. I haven't seen the line. I'd be interested to see what it is, honestly.
I'm sure Matt can get us both lines for both games at some point here.
And you guys are playing New England.
We're playing New England at home.
Quarterback TBD over there? Or?
They announced Mac Jones today is going to be the starter. I don't think any of them know what they're doing over there. I mean, Matt Patricia's calling the offense, right? And that guy he was a good D coordinator. He wasn't a good coach. I don't know what. I mean, they don't look great, right?
No.
They got a decent run game between Mac or Zappy. I mean, I don't think either of them are scaring us as a quarterback. They can try and dink and dunk us all day. And the X factor is going to be Belichick. Can he draw up a game plan to get into Zach's head or to beat our defense? Maybe. I don't think so. I think I don't want to get overly confident, but I think Salah remembers the fact that we got the shit kicked out of us the last two times we played him last year. So, yeah.
I think any team playing New England is smelling blood, right?
Yeah. I mean, the Bears just beat the brakes off of New England in New England.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or did the Patriots look really bad?
Yeah.
Right?
But I was sitting there thinking, this is the best I've ever seen Justin Fields play.
Yeah. And they definitely utilized his legs a lot.
Right.
And, they took it to New England. And I think New England is on the backside, right? And there, someone posted a stat. I think it was Asante Samuel posted a stat that basically said Belichick without Brady is like a sub 500 coach, right?
He's back to being the Browns coach, right? Where he's like 500 every year. Maybe
Belichick is Russell Wilson and Brady is to Pete Carroll, right?
I like it. Although Brady's kind of turning into a mummy all of a sudden too.
Yes.
I'm not going to write him off, but I was thinking about how the year before Peyton's last year, he was still lighting up teams, and then he just kind of fell off. It'll be interesting to see if Brady's going through the same thing. I
don't know why Brady didn't retire after they won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. To me, it's just you held on too long. I mean, he's got this. Who am I to tell a guy that's still competing at the top of his game to retire? I just hate the guy. I wish he retired 20 years ago. But, I actually feel bad for him this year because, going through a divorce sucks. And I'm sure that is weighing on him heavily as he's trying to navigate through this season. He's got, but he's also the guy that's him and Belichick went their separate ways. Whose fault was that? I don't know. Him and Arians had a problem. Arians retired, went into the front office. Now he's got Todd Bowles, who I don't think is the great.
We know well.
I don't think he's I don't think he's a great NFL coach. I think he's very vanilla.
He's a great defensive mind, right?
He's a great D coordinator. I mean, he was the D coordinator on the team for those 2 years that they were good. They just don't look. They look beatable this year. He looks beatable. I think the injuries they've sustained, the number of games they've played over the last 2 years, starting to catch up to them. That shit all.
Receiving core is kind of, Godwin's been banged up. Anyway, I don't want to get off track, but yeah, look, winnable games. I see where Seattle's -3. I guess that makes sense. It's a road game. They're a decent team. We'll see what happens. But dude, we're locked in as Giants fans. This is incredible.
Yep,
it's incredible.
Awesome.
And a quick shout out to Fabian Moreau for tackling Christian Kirk on the 1 yard line with some help with Lovin McKinney. The last minute of that game took like 20 minutes to play, and it was excruciating, but they held on, man. It's been the story all year with Barkley and Jones running it up the guts of other teams in the second half. So love it, guys. And Dexter Lawrence is a beast.
Nice. Yep. Well, let's shift gears to the negative part of the show because we got all the good stuff out. I feel better now, but
good.
Let's talk about these New York Icelanders.
Well, hey, look, I'm trying to get fired up just for tonight, right? Isles Rangers, the only time this year they're going to be in Belmont, which is a travesty.
It is a travesty.
This team looks like garbage, but hey. Let's come out and win tonight, huh? Maybe?
Yeah. I mean, there was a stat the other day. Trotz started his 4 years all at 3-3, and Lane is only 2-4. But my early take on things is Lane has taken his foot off the defensive prowess of this team, and now it's only 6 games, right? So I'm trying to not overreact.
Same.
But we're not playing as defensively minded as we have in the past.
Yep.
So the expected goals against us at 5-on-5, we're bottom 3 in the league. and the expected goals for us at 5-on-5, I believe we're also bottom 3 in the league.
That second one makes sense because there's just no attack on 5-on-5. They've been decent on power play.
We're decent on the power play. We cannot gain the zone.
No.
Unless Barzal or Dobson has the puck.
Right.
We can't get set up in the zone because everyone's beating us to the puck. You can see that everyone is pressuring us. They don't let us, against other teams, they like sit back because they don't want to make a mistake. Against us, they don't respect our stick handling skills, our skating ability.
Because they're not really there.
Right.
Like all our wings are guys who can kind of shoot really well, and that's about it.
Right.
I mean that's Lee, that's Palmieri. Like Wallstrom has a little bit of a handle, but
or guys that can post up in front of the net. But we have nobody that can move the puck. And so we have to make quick passes, and then we have to take a bunch of shots. And we're going back to being the team that Trotz took us away from being, which is just throw as many shots on goal as you possibly can, and eventually it's going to go in.
And look for crazy outlets.
We're not getting any high danger shots in the first 6 games. We're not shutting them down.
That's what's bothering me the most, because Trotz figured out how to get those how to win the high danger game when they were flying. And they had against Florida, the last game. By the way, since we last recorded, they've gone 0-3. They absolutely got embarrassed by New Jersey. They made dumb mistakes and lost to Tampa, because Tampa will make you pay when you do stupid things. And then it seemed like they were sleepwalking against Florida, which I want to say, I think they got their first high danger chance in that game in sometime like halfway through the third period, that's embarrassing as well.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the Florida game because I was so disgusted with the Tampa Bay game. The Tampa Bay game was the game that it was where I was like, this team is on the verge of not being good.
Honestly, I thought the Jersey game I had that.
I didn't get to see the Jersey game.
Oh yeah,
so I heard that was a terrible game.
Yep.
But the Tampa game, we outplayed them in the first period, and we were down. We outplayed them in the second period, and we were down.
Yep.
And then in the third period, I shut it off at the second period when they scored with 0.1 second left at the end of the second period, because I was that's the kind of stuff that gets Mike Kurland to fire a remote through a wall.
Oh yeah.
So I have learned, instead of firing the remote, just turn it off. So I turned it off. Smart. And I saw the end result, and I was like, this team has no fight in it. We can't gain the zone. We can't skate through the neutral zone. We turn the puck over all the time. Like I don't know where we are in the league in terms of turnovers, but I bet you we're bottom 5.
Yeah, it's just a frustrating watch, right? Because they don't create anything. They don't get you excited. They just kind of like fumble around and blast shots from the point, maybe.
I mean, they literally, every team does the same thing, right? Like we set up a guy in front of the net. We got our 2 defensemen up at the point, or at the blue line. We got one guy at one point, one guy at the other point, right, or behind the net. And so we're cycling from either the right side to the left side.
Yeah.
And they literally, there's one guy down below. I'm like pointing like you can see me. There's one guy down below, like, bodying up whoever's in front of the net. There's another guy like, forechecking the guy behind the net. And then the 3 guys, they form like a U around the goalie, so like no shots are getting through.
No.
It's ridiculous, dude. I mean, literally we're through 6 games and we have 4 centers on our team. You know how many goals our 4 centers have? 0. Matthew Barzal, I think, has 1 assist on the year so far.
Well, no, I think he has 6.
Fine.
So does Brock, but
it doesn't matter.
How many goals does his wings have? Like the wings aren't scoring either.
No,
the answer is 1.
Right. I think Wallstrom is finally getting some run. I think tonight we're going to see Wallstrom on the line with Barzal.
We are. Thank
please.
God. Right, just try something with Bailey and Wallstrom. At this point, that's probably the best option. I was telling you, I can't deal with Parise and Palmieri with Barzal.
No, they put that line back together with Pajot, which they did. I'd like to see Beauvillier up there with Wallstrom at this point and make Beauvillier, Wallstrom, and Barzal your top line, because those are your young guys.
Tito and Barzal had chemistry. Thank you for saying that, though. Really troubling quote by Lane. He's like, I don't think we have the chemistry yet. This fucking team has been the same it's the same roster. What are you talking about?
I don't know, man. I've seen a couple of things where it looks like he's in over his head, and I'm like, fuck, man. The only thing I mean, it's early. It's 6 games, but I have no confidence in this team. I'd like to beat the Rangers tonight. I think we're going to get our dicks kicked in again. And
Oh, and it's going to be like most. I'm not going, so I am guilty. But it's probably going to be mostly or more than half Rangers fans.
Yep.
Being loud and obnoxious.
Yep. So I don't know what the remedy is. It's 6 games.
I'm trying to be optimistic about tonight.
I'm not.
They have to play Colorado and Carolina after this, so
it's 3 more losses. We're going to be 2 and we're going to be 2-7 at the end of this.
They're the worst team in the Eastern Conference already.
Yep.
I don't think this season could be over pretty quick.
I mean, it's a tough start to the schedule. We had 2 cake games, and then everything else has been. We should have beat New Jersey.
Or at least put them a fight. I mean,
we didn't even show up.
Props to Jersey that they're looking good.
Yeah, but we still should have beat New Jersey, and we should have beat the Tampa Bay in that game. It was inexcusable. The goals that we gave up. The goals that we gave up were horseshit goals. Yeah. They were horseshit goals that bad teams give up. And you give up one of those in a game, fine. We gave up like 3 of them. So the fact that we gave up 3 horseshit goals in a game and gave up 5 goals in general, we should have won 3-2 in that game. And
the Islanders are dead. They can't make mistakes. Other teams like Tampa can, right?
Yep.
Because they have the scoring weapons. They can turn around.
The only thing we got left is hopefully the chemistry, and the team starts to fight back. But if they don't, I don't know. Lambert already looks like a dead man walking, and all of our lines are like old and showing their age at the same time. So we saw
this coming.
We did. So if this is the year we fall, if this is the year we fall off the cliff, this is the year we fall off the cliff. But this is definitely not our year. There's no question mark.
I was trying to be optimistic a couple weeks ago, and I said would they be 3rd in the Metro, and whoops.
Hey man, it was. I think that hope springs eternal, right? Or falls eternal. So yeah.
Bye Kiefer Bellows. He's on waivers. And not that it matters, but there goes a tiny little more skill. Hey, I thought we signed Ross Johnson so he was be waiver proof, but hey, 4 more years of coming in every once in a while and making the team have 2 fourth lines. So hey, we got that going for us.
Right, that was worth it. That contract was worth it. So yeah, I don't know, man. Seems like a little bit of a purgatory here. Yeah. I don't know what to expect. I'm kind of like hands in the air. Right. Whatever happens at this point. If we turn around and get some fight in us, great. But I have 0 expectations for this team, and it's tough. They've been tough to watch, and I've been having a hard time over the last 3 months investing time in a product that isn't worth it. And that was the Mets at the end of the season, and that's been the Islanders thus far to start this year.
Well, I'm glad you're still invested in this show. I want to say
yes, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is our outlet, and nobody watches the show except me, you, and your brother. True. Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom. So yeah, I mean, this is just for me and you to vent our frustration.
Yeah, man. And look, I completely agree with that sentiment. But like flipping over the iPad and having the Isles game on, even if they're like buried in January, I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to watch these stupid games. I love hockey.
Yeah, I get it, man. And my wife is 9 months pregnant, so
right. You got a lot going on. Yeah,
I'm not going to invest 2.5-3 hours into a hockey team that literally hasn't given this guy a wing in the 4 years that Lou's been here. Right. So, go out and make a hockey trade that you talked about making that you didn't make over the offseason, or whatever you want to do, or don't, and then let these contracts just come off the books, or trade them away for draft picks. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't care. I can't watch a bad product. I spent too many years watching a bad Islanders team be bad with no hope in sight. I don't have hope right now, and it's going to take a couple of years to turn it around. So I'll probably invest less time in the team for the next couple of years until they turn it around.
It's a damn shame. We were so goddamn close. Like the day of your rehearsal, day before your wedding, game 7 in Tampa. We're sneaking peeks.
We've been complete crap since then.
16 months ago.
Yep.
So
which let's segue a little bit into a team that I'm not quite ready to give up on yet, but they're close behind, which is the Brooklyn Nets.
Well, you've lost to the Bucks and the Grizz, right?
We lost. Well, we play. I think we play the Bucks tonight.
Oh, my bad.
But we lost to the Grizzlies on the road. Good game. And we lost to opening night. We lost to the Pelicans at home.
Pelicans, sorry.
And we beat Toronto at home. So we're 1-2. We're playing the Bucks. But I don't think we've gelled yet. We still haven't got Curry back. But I don't know, man. Again, we got blown out by the Grizz on the road the other night. So, and that's with Kyrie and KD putting up like 70-plus points.
Yeah,
so
they've been great.
They've been doing their thing.
How do you feel? Are you going to take Ben Simmons scores more points this year or has more fouls? Right now it's 17-14.
Yeah, I think he's going to score more points, but I also think, he was out guarding Ja Morant, and Ja baited him, and it was honestly, it was a shitty call.
It was.
That's a ticky-tack foul. I don't know why that.
Ja's going to get that call though at this point already.
I mean, it was a fucking reach in. It was such a stupid call. So, but whatever. I'm not going to sit here and argue. It's been 3 games. We will see. We need to start playing better. We haven't been playing good defense. We haven't been rebounding. I don't know. If Claxton and Sharp are our centers, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what we can do to fill that void at center. I don't know what Marks has got up his sleeves. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think, unlike the Owls, you see how the East is doing overall anyway. It just seems like in hockey, you get buried, you're done already. I don't know if it's the same in the NBA.
No, there's 10 out of, I want to say 15 or 16 spots to get in. I mean, it's really hard not to get into the playoffs, right? So I'm not concerned with that. But if you get into a playing game, it's so hard you got to play, a bunch of games to even get into the game, and then you got to go into a 7-game series. It's just you're expending a lot of energy. So
for sure.
I don't know, man. I'm not overly excited, but it's still early. This team can turn around. We got moves to make possibly, and this could be the last year of this experiment. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
In the meantime, though, this can be pretty much a football show, I guess.
That's all right.
Until there's some signs of life, and we're still not talking about baseball except for like the end thing we're going to do here in a couple of minutes, or now if you want.
Let's. I think it's time. I think it's been a good show, my friend. Let's call it a day. Who you got?
You didn't want to talk about Russ pooping anymore?
No more.
Solid number 2s. All right.
No. What you got to say, Dougie?
This is still pretty hollow. It should be more fun to say this, but vaya con Dios, New York Yankees. Goodbye.
Vaya con Dios, New York Yankees. You and the Major League Baseball did everything that they could to get you into the World Series because they know nobody wants to watch an Astros versus Phillies World Series, including the 2 of us on this show, because who gives a fuck about the Astros and fuck the Phillies, as we've said.
Well, no, I mean, go Houston.
I mean, whatever. I don't care.
No Philly championships. No.
Don't care.
No.
Don't care. Baseball, you guys have got it so wrong. Get it right. Fix your issues. Nobody cares anymore. That's what it comes down to. I don't even fucking care if the Phillies win because I don't fucking care. And I'm like most of America. Nobody cares. Watch your ratings be such garbage because no one gives a fuck about baseball anymore. Rob Manfred, get your fucking head out of your ass and stop being a pawn for all the owners. Do something to make this game more watchable. Make it better. Make people want to be here. And that's why you tried so hard to go back and forth on that Indians, Guardians, fucking Yankees final games because you just wanted the Guardians to have such a shitty chance of winning, and then they were locked out of their hotel. How does that happen to a Major League Baseball team? Give me a fucking break. You guys did everything you could to get these Yankees in so that you would hope that they could beat the fucking Astros, and they couldn't because they're not a good team. So vaya con Dios, New York Yankees, vaya con Dios, the fucking MLB season, and let's change this shitty 162 game marathon of crap. You're welcome.
I mean, if we need a new show title, by the way, that was awesome. If we need a new show title, a marathon of crap, that's pretty good.
Yeah, well, I like it. Put up with an hour of crap listening to us, right? So
right.
I like it. All right, Dougie, it's been a great show.
That's to you, Russell Wilson, as well. Marathon of crap. Let's hope that you don't have one so you can do more lunges in the aisle. And with that, Michael, thank you. Thanks for having me as always. Thanks for watching.
See you guys next week.